God, if you are real, I need a sign. I need you to touch me or something. At moments in my life where I realized I can't trust anybody, the spirit was awoken.
Yeah, because he touched you.
He touched me.
He touched you.
So I was awakened to purpose.
Right there, just like that.
Welcome to the Awaken to Purpose podcast, a podcast by survivors for survivors of childhood sexual trauma and chronic illness warriors. Here, we get honest about healing, transformation, and awakening to our God-given purpose. Hi, I'm Larissa, mother, author, nonprofit founder, survivor empowerment coach, and your host. Around here, we shift mindsets, change the narrative, and create a new norm from a faith-filled lens. So let me ask you, have you ever wished someone would speak more openly about the complexities of healing? Ever longed for a space that sees you without judgment or performance? You are not alone. This podcast is anchored in Revelations 12:11 and Romans 12:2. We're breaking silence, reassigning shame, and healing forward. Join me. Let's journey to free and awaken to purpose together.
Okay, so we're doing this, Tam.
We are doing it.
We're doing this. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the Awaken to Purpose podcast. And we're actually cross-potting, if that's a word. Is that a word?
No, it's not.
It's not?
Well,
we're going to make it
up.
one. We're going to make it one. Why? My audience will be seeing this, and your audience will be seeing this. Okay, so we're doing a cross-pod. Anyhow, hi. My name is Larissa. I should be looking over here.
Yes, I was just about to tell you.
So our first one. So, yeah. My name is Larissa.
And I am Tammy.
And what is the name of your podcast, Tammy?
My podcast is called Sex Ed for Saints.
Y'all heard it? Sex Ed for Saints. Y'all gotta go check it out. Okay, Tammy is a dear friend of mine that I've met 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're just meeting for the first time this weekend.
She's in my house.
I'm in her house, y'all. I'm in her house, which means I'm in ATL.
Yes.
All the way from
Yes.
Connecticut. And real quick, came here for several reasons. Came here to meet her, to see my aunt finally on her turf, and then also to visit 2819 Church.
Yeah.
We won't get into all of what happened. I came for access for my birthday, and my access was denied.
Denied.
I didn't make
just
it
to get in the room. But the prayers were not denied, y'all. The prayers was praying. Okay.
They really were. They really were.
Yeah.
But I really, really wanted to do this because I've been wanting to talk to Tam in person, side by side, because we've done a couple of pods, mini stuff before. But as I'm launching, I couldn't think of a better person or a more important person that I wanted to launch this pod with.
Yeah.
And there is so much here. So I'm going to allow Tammy to say how we actually met and how long all of this, both my assignment and hers, have been in the works. And we're just getting things on the road.
Yeah. Man, we met not at the summit. So you know how God is calling you to do different things in your life and you're trying to figure out, okay, God, what are you calling me to? Mm-hmm. And so, I came across a video on Facebook that had Lisa Nichols, and she was sharing about her speaking platform, because at that time I was like, I'm going to be a speaker. I'm going to be a speaker, right? And so I was like, I'm going to go to the Speak and Write conference. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you, I booked my ticket, I went to California, okay? I was in the Bahamas at the time. And when I went there, that conference was so good.
Stick a pin. I didn't know you were in the Bahamas at the time that you attended.
Yes, I was in the Bahamas. I was living there.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my husband were riding in the Bahamas, okay?
Okay. Talk about pushing through.
Yes, because it was during a season of my life where I was trying to figure out some things. I had 2 babies, right? They were probably like 3 and 2, maybe 2 and 1. Like they were back to back.
Oh yeah, because it was a few years ago.
It was a few years ago, and I was dealing with so much. Internally, spiritually, God was calling me to higher, and I was trying to figure out the direction of where He wanted me to go. And so You start doing steps, and God, he acts as a GPS. And so I just started following. And it landed me there. And my goal there was to, make connections, meet people, and just do something different. Be uncomfortable, right? That was the goal. And so I did just that. I started interacting with people. I came out of my comfort zone to mix and mingle and be free. And in that process, I met a few people. Yeah. You didn't meet anybody, but I did. My goal was to network and be free and be uncomfortable. That was the goal. And in that process, I met, a dear friend of ours at that time. Yeah. And, we came together and we all decided, okay, hey, listen, let's continue this momentum because it was so good. Yes. And so she said, let's do a summit. We're going to recharge. And, we all have a story because all of our stories were so powerful. Yeah. And so we decided to come together and put this summit together. And the summit was amazing. It really was. But in that process, one of the ladies who was assisting with the organizing of it, she met Larissa. Right? And so Larissa came in and we all came in, and it was a beautiful experience in the beginning. And so, you want to talk a little bit? I love how you said the beginning. because it went left real quick. Like, exit. Left. And then it became a trust process. Okay.
Over again.
With trauma issues. Again.
Yeah. And that's really what this is all about, because our stories are so interconnected, yet so different, yet so similar. Yeah. And the fact that how we ended up in the space together, and let's talk about how amazing and intentional God is. That August for my hip replacement. And ironically, here I am in Atlanta for my birthday again. Literally just had the other side done. So I'm just like, that was funny. Yeah. But the 2 times I decided to step out on a whim and do something for my birthday, and just seeing how God aligned everything. So anyhow, back to the Lisa Nichols thing in Cali. We were in the room together. We attended the event, but we never actually met there. God aligned our paths, though, because one of the ladies that attended that event too met her in the parking lot the day we were leaving, right? And she just started talking and whatever, exchange numbers. And as she said, we became friends, and we decided through the varying connections that they all made, our path crossed, and which led to the summit. God works in mysterious ways. Is that as much as everything fizzled out from that, as in all the other parties involved, for some reason this one stuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't let it go, y'all. I kept saying God wants me to be connected in some way, and so I kept reaching out.
You did.
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
And I have to give her credit for that, because again, as you guys know me, you'll understand people ain't my thing. But God has been good, because he knows that I need people to get out of my own way and to. So it's taking the same thing that got me to that level of brokenness. God's using to pull me out, and he's showing up and coming through Tammy in ways. So let me pause to say how much I appreciate you, and for you to be sticking in there with, because I'll ghost you in a second.
No, she ain't gonna ghost me, y'all, because the spirit gonna be coming after her.
Which she
gonna be like, I don't know why I can't stop thinking about Tammy. But I thank you for it, because this has been a beautiful friendship that we've developed.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. It's been a bit weird, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Which now brings us to, on that summit, one thing that we quickly realized was how similar our stories were.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask Tammy now to share her story, as in, what was your childhood like, Tammy?
So, I didn't have a bad childhood, but it also wasn't the best childhood. And I think because growing up, I had been moving around a lot, right? And so when I remember one day I sat down and I was like, how many schools did I go to? And I sat there and I wrote down all the schools that I went to. And the reason why I'm sharing is because, you go to school based off of the district that you live in. And when I counted, it was 17 different schools, right?
I thought I was
And
bad.
so, right. And so I moved around a lot, and my parents also, like, they moved a lot. And so, you know, there was a season of their life where they were just trying to figure it out. And so during that time, it was difficult for them to, you know, have us as children. When I say us, me and my sister. And so we would go back and forth from the Bahamas. My parents are originally from the Bahamas. And so when we went to the Bahamas, we weren't with our parents. Mm-hmm. So when we were with our parents, we were good. But when we weren't with our parents, we were not with our parents, and it was not so good. And I'm not saying that my grandmother or the people, because we were left in the care of people who they felt that they could trust us with. But the problem with that is that sometimes you can have individuals in those homes that, you know, don't have your best interests at heart. And so, growing up was good when I was with my parents, but when I wasn't with my parents, there was a difference in the way that I would respond and interact. And so my childhood, it was good. It had some good moments. It had some not some great moments.
Can you paint a picture for us of what your childhood looked like around the abuse that you endured?
Okay, so I began to get abused around the age of about 8 years old. So when it comes to painting a picture, to go back there, right? I'm not gonna say it because, you know, like I don't really talk about who abused me because right. You know, those individuals are still around. Some of them anyway. It was many. I always felt like I was a target because I would go this place and I would be abused there. I would go this place and I would be abused there. And so for me, going to different spaces, the abuse would be in situations where it'd be like, hey, let's play a game, right? Mm-hmm. Let's play this game and, you know, I'll be the daddy, you be the mommy type of situation. And, like, you knew at such a young age that this might not be right, right? Or it would be, hey, let's wrestle. Or let's fight, or let's play fight, let's do these various things. And so, or there would be situations where there would be individuals who would be like, I need you to do this, you know?
And are we talking about adults here or children?
We are talking about both. We're talking about both. Yeah. And so I always say, like, I have been abused in so many different areas by so many different people. I can barely, you know, keep count, right? It was a normal, like, it became a normal part of my life that I knew was wrong and I felt that it was wrong. And it became one of those things where my mind had already began to shift in terms of how I see men and how I see people.
Can you recall what started this? Because I find that even for myself as a survivor, something happened prior that set you down this path. And it's almost as if, as you mentioned before, now there's a stamp on your forehead that says, you know, here I am, victimize me, or do something to me.
And that's the thing. I wouldn't even know. I think because me and my sister were in so many different spaces without our parents, it kind of made us easy targets, right? Everybody knew that we were the ones who, it was almost like you are the children with no parents. Yeah. And so nobody's going to treat you the same way that your parents are going to treat you, right? Unless you have that instinct. But for the most part, you know, your aunts are going to treat you like your aunts. Yeah. And your uncles are going to treat you like your uncles. But the ones who are not attached are going to treat you like, you know, the children with no parents. the easy targets, because I could easily get away with this because you don't have parents, right? Yeah. And so that's how it was. Like, the protection was not there. And so because we were left in the open, that allowed us to be vulnerable for anything to happen. Yeah. And so I think from when it started, that opened up the spiritual door for it to begin the cycle of it happening from everywhere. Yeah. right? And then, of course, with that comes behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I began from the first time that I was assaulted.
Can you recall what age you were?
I was about 8.
8.
Yeah. I was 8 years old when that first happened, from that first violation.
And just to be clear, we're specifically talking about sexual trauma.
Yeah, we're talking about sexual trauma. From that first violation, you know, my mind started shifting from then. Right? And so...
And what was that like? When you say your mind started shifting, what behaviors followed as a result of the shift?
So that it began to be curiosity. Right? Like, what am I
exposed?
Now I'm exposed.
Yeah.
Now I'm exposed. And so you start doing things and you don't understand why, and so you begin living out the symptoms of what the trauma has started.
At what point did you realize that what happened to you or what was happening to you was abuse?
I always knew that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I always knew that the way that I felt was not right after someone abused me. And so mentally or emotionally, I knew that it wasn't right, but I wasn't taught how to tell and communicate what it was that I was feeling. And because my parents, they were there. My parents, I want to be sure to say that my parents loved us. They loved us very well. And they were doing the best that they possibly could to, you know, better our entire family, right? And so, you know, as a result of that, it was very expensive to house us.
Yeah.
And especially when they were still trying to figure out, okay, do we want to live here? Do we want to live here? And so, you know, being in different environments allowed us to be vulnerable. And I forgot where I was going with this.
You were talking about your parents. You were just trying to make sure that people understand that this wasn't neglect of any kind.
Right. It wasn't neglect.
This was the circumstances that presented themselves and your parents trying to make your lives better.
Exactly.
And we need to also put that the places or the traveling distance between countries,
right?
The Bahamas and the U.S. So
exactly, but also keep in mind during that time, we didn't have phones the way that we had them. Yeah. We didn't have communication the way that we had them. I remember specifically. I was so young, and in the Bahamas, we still were making collect calls. Okay, and so if you wanted to call out, you had to pick up the phone, dial the operator, and there was someone on that line who had to dial the number for you. I don't know if y'all had that in Jamaica, right? And so I remember, like, I wanted my parents so bad because I knew that what was happening was wrong.
Yeah.
And I just wanted my mom. I didn't want to tell her what was going on because I still wasn't comfortable, but I wanted to talk to her, right? I wanted her to hear me at that moment. And I remember picking up the phone at 8 years old and the operator coming on the phone, and I said, I just want to talk to my mom, right? And the operator was like, well, do you have her number? And I'm like, no, I don't have her number. And she was like, well, sweetie, you need to have her number before you make a collect call. And she hung up the phone, and I remember bawling and crying because we didn't have the opportunity to be able to talk to our parents every single day. We had to wait for them to call us. And when they called us, it was always through, you know, my grandparents or whoever picked up the phone. Like, it was never, they didn't have a way to interact with me outside of that. And I don't even think that they understood that I needed to have conversations with them more because they're thinking that I'm in good hands. You know, I'm with their parents or their family members. You know what I mean? So they don't really understand that, you know, my child is not safe here.
Or to even ask those questions.
Because why would you even think like that?
Exactly.
Unless you know that, you know, there are perpetrators inside the homes, but they had no way of knowing that.
Well, this is where, when I hear stories like this, it really makes me think back to my childhood because with the similarities and the stark differences, because unlike you, where I ended up when my parents migrated, one of the parents knew there was a perpetrator there, but the question was never asked, you know. And so, it becomes that, and I can relate when you said that you wanted to call your mom and to talk. Like, so many times I felt that way. But with me, whenever my mom did call her, someone was always around. We were never allowed to just be on the phone.
We were never allowed to be alone.
Even if I wanted to say I couldn't, because someone was always there. And we were getting threats. Well, I was getting threatened and all of that. So I would have never even said. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, at what point did you realize something was taken from you? And when did you realize that whatever, you know?
Okay. I was a little bit older. So I'll talk about this because I'm going to fast forward a little bit because, you know, as I'm developing into a teen, at this point I was making my own decisions. So my parents, we were going back and forth. And some things happened.
The Bahamas too.
Back and forth from the Bahamas. I'm from Atlanta. So back and forth from the Bahamas to Atlanta. And, you know, some things happened in, you know, my family's life or whatever. And my dad had to end up going back to the Bahamas. And I was with my mom in Atlanta. And I decided, you know, at 13, I want to go home. You know, I want to go and stay with my dad during that time. Right. And so my mom was like, okay, go with your dad. You know? And so, during that time, you know, I'm still 13. And so imagine a child who has been traumatized or abused her more than half of her life at that particular time. I was going through that little phase where you were being a little fast or you were, you know, hanging out or doing stuff and whatever. And so, you know, I encountered a boy. And during that process of me encountering him, you know, he invited me somewhere and I went. And during that point, I was still a virgin. And then he raped me. Right. And so I might have been doing a little bit too much in terms of like, I was just wearing like a little bit provocative clothes. Right. Like my shorts might have been a little bit too short,
which is not
but that's not a reason, right? But I'm just explaining during that time I was still living out the symptoms, trying to figure out. I was trying to make. So let me rewind a little bit because what happened was because I was being abused by so many different people, my mind said I needed to take control. Okay, so my way of being in control was, you know, taking ownership or doing things before somebody had an opportunity to do something to me. And so if I was going to be grown, I was going to be grown. But I had limitations around what it was I was going to do. My mind told me so. And so at 13, I was like, okay, I'll be grown. Like, I'll be the one to be like, okay, let's talk. Right. But I never wanted to actually engage in sex. And I think in my mind, I was very clear about that because, first of all, I was afraid of it. And then second of all, like, I just wasn't ready there. Right. And so when I was communicating with, you know, these boys and whatnot, I mean, it was several of them that I was communicating with, you know, I was like, I'm not going to ever, you know, like I made it very clear that sex was something that I did not want to do, you know? And so when I ended up in that situation, it was a fight. Like I didn't just give in to having somebody, like it was forced.
Because leading up to that point, what you were experiencing mostly was molestation.
Right.
Being by various people.
Exactly.
Right. Until this particular individual.
Until that particular individual. Right. Yes. And so, you know, when that happened, I think that's when, you know, my mind just started going like left. Yeah. And trying to I don't want to say get over because you can't get over a rape, but trying to get over, you know, something like that caused me to say, okay, this control thing is not working. Right. And so what I did was I went into a shell. So I locked myself in the room, my grandmother's house. I had a room there and I went in that room for about 2 weeks. I did not come out. You know, I went to school. I was quiet. Everybody was like, what's wrong? You know, that's how I lived. It started to begin a cycle of isolation. Right. And during that time, I had an aunt who was married to another guy, still married. And so during that time, they were like, I remember it being a specific holiday and they were like, hey, let's go to the beach. You've been locked up in this room. I needed to go out because I was in and I just wanted to breathe. And so, you know, I was excited. This was my favorite uncle. My aunts husband. My aunt is through biological aunt, but husband was through marriage. And so they had 2 children, 2 boys. And they were like, hey, let's go to the beach, you know, and I was excited to go to the beach. Yeah. And so I got on my bathing suit that day. I remember getting in the car and they were playing the little gospel reggae. I remember there was a song, it was like Ride the Donkey. It was a Jamaican gospel song, right? And I was lit in the car. We were all lit singing the songs because she had 2 little boys at the time. And I even remember there was a homeless guy who came up to the window, and my uncle at that time was he would like minister to people. And so he was ministering to the homeless guy, and he was like, you know, God don't want you to live like this. You know what I mean? Just giving him the word and shooting the word, because that's what we were used to when it came to him. Right. And so, you know, he did his thing. I can't remember if he gave him a couple of dollars or whatnot. And so we went on the way to the beach, right? In the water, having fun. We playing games. And then something shifted in that moment. Something shifted. And I don't know if it was the way that my uncle brushed up against me. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, right? I didn't know if it was because of the trauma that I just experienced with the rape. I was like, maybe it's in my mind. Okay? Maybe the looks are a little bit off, right? I'm in my bathing suit, blah, blah, blah. We playing these little games, and something is just not feeling right.
That instinct.
You know? It was the instinct. And so, you know, we were in the water for a minute, and then, you know, they're deciding, okay, it's starting to get late, and then they're like, hey, let's go to our house with the kids, so that, because their house was closer to the beach than, you know, where I lived, because they had to come and get me. And so we went to their house, and my aunt, she took her 2 boys in the shower so they could get freshened up, and I'm just sitting in one of the rooms in the back with my bathing suit on, and then, you know, I can hear them playing games in the tub, and my uncle comes in the room where I am, he kneels behind me, and then he starts molesting me. Right? And so
the same one that was preaching the gospel.
The same one that was preaching the gospel, the same one that was my favorite, like the same one who I looked up to, like it was all of that. And I think it was that moment in my life where I realized I can't trust anybody. I can't trust anybody. And I remember getting up from that moment and running in the living room and saying, no, 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 no. And he was very aggressive with his touches. And I tried to find the closest phone that I could call. And I remember calling my cousin. And I picked up the phone to call her. I ran from the room. And I said that he's touching me and I don't know what to do.
And did you tell your aunt?
I didn't tell my aunt.
What happened?
I didn't say anything. Because I was afraid. You know? And not even just afraid, but I was also in shock. And I'm a processor. First of all, I have to process what's even happening.
Yeah.
You know? And so
because he went from that to
and it was just that fast. I'm on the floor coloring in a coloring book on the floor. Which just goes to show like my childlike behavior. Like I'm on the floor sitting down being a child. And here this man comes and he is putting his hands all over me. Right? And it just started reminding me of all the abuse that happened. And then he circled back. He circled back.
Even after you ran out.
I ran out. I called my cousin on the phone and I heard him coming. And I got scared. I hung up the phone and I ran towards the kitchen. And he came behind me to do it all over again, more aggressively.
And after this, who was the first person that you ever told about what was happening or what you had experienced up until this point?
I told my sister. But me and my sister, when we were going through the process of, you know, not being with our parents, we were separated because I guess the family couldn't handle all 2 of us. And so she went to one house, I went to the other. But we were older at this point when I told her, but she was still living with my mom. Because remember I said I wanted to go with my dad.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was like, I want out of the Bahamas. I went back to my mom. And so when I went back to my mom, my sister...
all of that was happening in the Bahamas.
That was happening in the Bahamas or various places.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I went back to my mom, my sister just randomly asked me one day. And she was like, who in the family do you not like? And then I began to tell her.
And what was that like for you? Finally telling someone.
I think that I had a moment of somebody actually sees me. You know, because nobody ever talks about abuse. I still had never had a conversation with anybody about, you know, don't allow anybody to touch you, and if they do, this is what happens.
While you're talking, it's bringing back a memory of something we spoke about some time ago, and there was a conversation about your grandma, and when you had mentioned to your grandma, and then we're gonna pivot to the change.
Yeah.
But what was
my grandmother was very harsh. So I always tell people she came from. So in the Bahamas, there are 700 islands and keys, okay? We have a lot, okay? But only a few of them are inhabited, about 15. And so my grandmother came from this island called Exuma. And the people in Exuma are known for their rawness and how they speak, their tone. Like, they are just very direct and straightforward people. They don't have any filter.
Probably my grandmother from that.
They don't have any filter. And so, you know, my mom, of course, you know, she begins to take immediate action when she hears, you know, okay, I've been abused, I've been this and all of that. And so she's calling the Bahamas Crisis Center and, you know, finding out, you know, making me go to get my exam. Nice. And we are having to relive these experiences in vivid detail. Imagine I'm 14 now at this point, having to explain to the police exactly what happened. How do you know you were raped? He had to... You know what I mean? Like, I had to give the details in front of my dad, who was sitting right there at the table. It was very uncomfortable. Having to be there and go to the hospital while they examined me. It was a whole process. And, you know, when I think they had like an investigator who had contacted my house and they asked to speak to Miss Bo. And so my mom is there at this point, and so I didn't know which Miss Bo they was talking about. So I give the phone to my grandmother because she's the Miss Bo of the house, right? And so they're like, hey, we found the guy who, you know, did this to your daughter.
Yeah.
And my grandmother's response after she gave the phone to my mom was, somebody raped you? She said, that's good for you. You know, you need to learn how to stay your hip home, right? That was her response. And so
you learn to stay your hip home.
She's, you know, in the island voice, you need to learn how to stay your hip home. You need to learn how to be in the house and not go out. You need to learn how to not put yourself in environments that people are going to be able to take advantage of you.
What did I do to you, little girl?
I think that I was so hurt by that comment that it shut me out even more. It kind of made me numb. It made me so numb.
I understand.
You know? And, you know, understanding my grandmother as an adult, she didn't mean...
I think she knew better.
She knew better, right? But she should have known better. She should have known better. I can't speak for her because she's no longer with us. But I think that, you know, she had a different way of doing things. I mean, they grew up on the island. And the island had nothing. I mean, 14, you get married and that's it. That's life. You know, they don't even go to school. They just learn how to be wives and she never learned how to drive, you know, things like that. Like there were a lot of things which played a role in her. I mean, she was strong. She made sure all her kids went to school and went to college and did all the things. They were all educated. But she just had a different way of
the softness and all of that.
She did not have softness.
Communicate. They just never had it.
She don't have it. Listen, we have one of the most popular pastors on the island during that time, Bishop Neil Ellis. He spoke at her funeral, and the only thing that he could say was how much she used to put him in check after he used to preach, okay? He used to say, she used to tell me after I spoke, she would come up to me and tell me what I did wrong in my sermons. Her own pastor of her church, because he wasn't even the pastor of her church. She used to tell him about what he did wrong. So she was very direct. She did not curve her words, her language. She was very blunt.
Definition of no filter.
No filter. Okay?
There's so much to unpack there.
He was like, listen.
We want to have the same grandma. But anyhow, for the sake of time, I wanted to ask you, Tammy, what was the breaking point for you when you realized that you didn't want to live like that sheltered, numb, isolated little girl anymore?
I attribute that to, I have an aunt. Shout out to my auntie Mel.
Yeah, all lives are so.
She is the most saved person I have ever met in my entire life till this day.
Oh wow.
Okay. She did not know. Yes, she did not know what was going on with me. I never told her. Right? Never. I never said anything about what was going on. But she knew that I was.
Something's wrong.
She knew something. I don't know. I can't even say that she knew something was wrong. I think she was just doing her due diligence as a Christian woman to make sure that I was attending church.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so they had a church. My aunt, they have a church. They have a big church, Greater Bethel, in the Bahamas. And it was a smaller church at that time. But she has, children. They were my age at the time. And so she would come and get me every weekend.
Oh, nice.
And that was my way of escape. And I never wanted to go home. And so I would spend a lot of time with my auntie Mel. And I remember, going to church one time. They would sing, and I remember they would sing songs. And I didn't go to church. I wasn't exposed to church like that. I mean, I went, but I wasn't exposed to church in the sense of getting to know Jesus. It was more of if I go to church, I know I'm gonna get beaten, because that's another story for another day. But anyways, they had a different church. It was a different environment, and they had a guest speaker who was getting ready to speak, and I went to choir rehearsal with my cousins, and I remember feeling something when they would sing those songs.
Yeah.
I remember the songs they were singing. I'm going up yonder.
Oh, I remember that song.
Yes, it was so powerful. I remember that song, and we went to choir rehearsal, and then they were preparing for the pastor that was coming. And when we went to church that day, it was just a normal Sunday of me going to church with them. But there was something about that service that was completely different. Right? That man who they had to preach, I can't remember what his name is, but he was preaching. And it was the first time that I had ever seen a pastor preach in the way that he had preached, in a way that it was touching my spirit.
Oh, wow.
I didn't understand all of that.
Yeah.
And so he called me during the sermon. Right?
Ooh.
And I'm like, you calling me? Like me? Me? And I didn't want to go up there. I'm looking at you calling me.
Right.
Like, you, little girl, come here.
Wow.
And so I'm walking towards him. And then he stands in front of me, and he's looking me in my face, and he's like, do you love Jesus? And I said, yeah, I love Jesus. This time, I don't even know Jesus. I don't even know Jesus. I don't really understand Jesus at this point. Right? And so I'm thinking, okay, do you love Jesus? He's asking me this question.
Y'all don't pay attention to that. Jello, he'd be jello.
We forgot to close the door, y'all. But anyways.
We just gonna ignore him.
So he's like, do you love Jesus? And I'm like, yes, I love Jesus. And then he's like, I need you to say it.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, I love Jesus. He said, say it louder. I love you. And he made me
with your chest.
say, yeah. And I kept saying it louder, and he kept saying louder, louder, louder.
Wow.
And as I said it louder, I could feel the Holy Spirit moving so strong. I started screaming, I love Jesus, I love Jesus, I love Jesus. And the Holy Spirit took over. And that was the first time that I was able to free myself, or I don't even want to say free, because that wasn't free. It was
understand it.
Right, but I was able to release everything it was that I was feeling inside from all of the trauma that I was experiencing. So imagine having that moment where you are just screaming because you are breaking down so much that you just have to let it out.
So let me ask you that. That's a good segue to ask you this question. What role did faith from that time as a child, how did faith get cultivated there, and what role did faith play in your healing process? And
that was the seed.
seed was
so
planted then.
the seed was planted, but I still had a long way to go. You know, I had a long way to go, but to pivot to the faith process, I'll go to another experience because now I'm an adult, right? And what led me back to faith was I was going through a lot again, you know, still living out trauma.
And did you have any experience as an adult with the topic of abuse?
When you say experience, like, was I abused as an adult?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, not, okay. Let me rephrase that. Because there was abuse, but my mind wouldn't let me count it as abuse. Right? Because I'm in control still. You know what I mean? Right. So, like, if I did something that was abuse, in my mindset at that time told me that I wanted this to happen. Wow. Right? Wow. So that I couldn't count it as abuse. Like, I remember one time, I had gotten so drunk. Right? I was like, man, like, I ain't had no cognitive abilities then. Right. But I remember this dude was there, and I'm saying no, but I'm so drunk that I ain't even had the strength. And so, you know, when I woke up from that and I realized, dang, I just, you know, had sex with this dude that I can't even remember. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, nah, this is what I came here for. You know what I mean? That's how you rationalize it. Yeah. And so you're thinking, man, like, you're going through these experiences and you're not even thinking that it's abuse because, you know, because I'm thinking, no, I'm being more grown here. So right. I am putting myself in positions where I'm allowing these things to happen and not even happen. But if it happens, it's because I'm in control of the situation. Like, I got myself drunk, and you know how you play, no. You know what I mean? Like, it's those moments where you kind of, like, have to, like, think about, okay, how am I living out these symptoms? And how am I opening up myself to receive these things? And what am I putting out?
But before you get back to the faith, how faith played a role, let's make it really clear that was abuse. Yeah. Because she was intoxicated.
Yeah. So, for sure.
You know, regardless, she was saying no. It should have been a no.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I know I say that because we love to be like, oh, what did you do? Yeah. How did this happen? You must have done something. She was intoxicated. She said that. Yeah. But the trauma was still at play. And even so, it should have been a no because she was intoxicated.
Right.
But we'll get back to faith.
For sure. And so you were having, like, moments like that. Mm-hmm. And then I remember being in a relationship, right? I was very toxic, so I was not the person to be in a relationship. But anyways, being in a relationship, fast forward, I'm in the Bahamas. And that relationship obviously wasn't working out because at that point, I had a daughter at that point. My daughter was about 1 year old during that time. And faith came in because I was in that relationship. I wanted out. It was like a dead-end relationship. It wasn't going anywhere. It was toxic. Like, we were going around the circles and cycles and, you know, and my mom hated that relationship so much. And so she got a newspaper one day. And in the newspaper, there was a choir saying, hey, we're doing auditions. And my mom threw the newspaper at me, and she was like, Tammy, you need to go do the auditions for this choir.
I'm not asking. We tell it.
And at this point, I'm just like, woman, like, stop, you know? But she would not let it go. She would not let it go. Every time she saw me, did you register? Did you sign up? Are you going to go to the auditions? And so at that point, I went to the auditions just to appease her. Yeah. You know, because I was not ready to let go of the having fun and, living my life and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, I was doing it. Okay. Like, to show you how much, I went to the auditions in my club attire because I was getting ready to go to the club. Okay. So,
we're going to keep it real.
Right. I'm keeping it real. Like, I went to the auditions in my club attire because me and my friend were supposed to link up after so that we could go to the club. My dad, he plays the trumpet. He plays the trumpet. He got one more in him. He got one more. What? My dad plays the trumpet, and he was playing a song called Falling in... See, I knew it. He was playing a song called Falling in Love with Jesus. We're going to laugh about this later. Okay, let's focus. Okay, he was playing a song called Falling in Love with Jesus, and I only knew the chorus because of how he was singing. It was called Falling in Love with Jesus. Falling in love with Jesus. Right, that's all I knew. It's the best thing I've ever done. Right, so I just started singing that. I sang that at the audition, and they called me the next day, and they were like, "You made it," and I was like, "I did what?"
You made it. You made it.
I was like, first of all, tell me a little bit more about this choir again.
Because he went with my mama.
Right, because she the really the one who signed me up, because I was just playing. I wasn't even using a serious voice.
Oh, wow.
Okay, like I was just doing it to say, Mom, I did the audition. Right. But what that ended up doing was, it was a church that was all about prayer and spiritual warfare, and they were serious, and so it was the first time that I ever saw people speak in tongues. Like, we in our rehearsals, we would gather around in a circle, and everybody had to pray and speak in tongues. And I was like, I don't know. They asked me, she was like, "Are you baptized in the Holy Spirit?" I'm like, "No, I don't even understand what you mean by that." And she's like, that's a testament to your faith. That's the evidence of your faith. And so she was like, it's a requirement. I'm like, it's a requirement. And so the pastor I was going to at that time, like, I mean, I didn't know anything about it. And so I'm asking these questions, and he's telling me different information. And so I'm learning. And, I started to feel some shifting happen. Like my spirit started shifting. I started shifting. My mindset started shifting. And one day, a friend of mine, she invited me to her church, Calvary Deliverance Church, right? And I absolutely loved her church in the Bahamas. I mean, y'all ain't gonna know it. I'm saying names like y'all gonna know what it is. I'm probably giving y'all way too much information. I don't need y'all to be looking this up. But anyways, they had a bishop there, Bishop B.G. Clark, and his son, Ricardo Clark. And I promise you, when I see him, I'm gonna tell him this testimony one day. But I was questioning as to whether or not God was even real in this moment. It was me and my daughter. They were having a youth service that night, and when I tell you, I didn't want to go, but something pulled me to go. And so I went by myself, me and my daughter. When I say by myself, me and my daughter. And Ricardo Clark, he's preaching, and this man is on fire. Okay, it's youth. He's a youth pastor, and he is preaching, and this man, I'm telling you, he's on fire. And I'm sitting in the back of the church. It's a huge church. Probably like 500 people were there at the time. I don't know. It was big. It was a lot of kids. They were everywhere. It was youth night. No, but listen, I didn't even really know how to pray or anything like that. All I know is what I've been exposed to. I feel something shifting. And so I'm holding my daughter in my hand, and I'm praying, and my exact word was, "God, if you are real, I need a sign." Because I'm the type of person where I need you to tell me directly.
See a fire.
Thank you. I need to see it, And so I said, "God, if you were real, give me a sign. I need you to touch me or something." That was my exact words. Okay. And so this man, he's preaching, and he's on fire, and he's, preaching this word, and he's all the way at the top of the pulpit. And then he jumps down, and he's walking, and he's preaching like this. He's going up like this, up and down the aisle, and he ain't touching nobody. But when he gets to my row, he is with one mic in his hand, and he's doing like this.
There goes your touch, girl.
There
goes your touch.
Yeah, but my behind was like, nah.
That ain't it.
I need another one.
Send me another sign.
Right? And I'm like, okay. I said, I need you to touch me. They do an altar call. They call the whole church to come up. So I go up to the altar, right? And so I'm at the altar, I'm holding my daughter, and I'm praying. And so now Bishop V.G. Clark is walking around the altar. This is the pastor of the church. Ricardo is his son. And so he comes to me out of all the 500 people, and he says, "Hey, can I pray for you? I just want to touch on you for a little bit." Right?
So trigger words, but okay.
Lord, crying. Okay. I'm not trying to cry on nobody podcast.
Girl,
where the tissue? He's like, anyways, I know. Can I pray for you? Oops. Right? And so I'm like, yeah. And so somebody grabs my daughter, and then, he's praying for me, and I just start crying because I'm like, okay, God,
He heard you?
Yeah, he heard me, right? And then he goes and he starts praying for other people, and then he circles back, and then he says, "I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like I just need to touch you." Now you can't tell me,
especially them words.
You cannot tell me that is not God.
Right.
And I said, "Okay, God, I submit."
Yeah.
It was at that moment where I finally submitted. That was the final submission.
That to me is so powerful. You asked, and you received.
Yeah.
But as we know that on this journey, even in those moments, because you got the answer right there, as in knowing that God is real and he sees you and he hears you. But the walking that out even after that.
Yeah.
How did you get from there to what tools did you have to use, or how did you
that process began my discipleship, and this is what I talk about in my book. So everything that I'm talking about here is in my book.
We're gonna get to that real quick.
Well, a different book, but anyway, but yeah. So that began the discipleship process, because at that point I just wanted to know more of God. The spirit was awoken.
Yeah, because he touched you.
He touched me.
He touched you.
So I was awakened to purpose.
Right there, just like that. The beauty in that part of the story is the fact that you knew, you asked for the sign and it was around touching.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that can be such a trigger for us because of what you experienced.
Yeah.
But just like you see the brilliance and the wisdom there of how, again, intentional God was. And the touching, which then awakened you to who he was and your call. But continue.
Hold on, let me just say this, because I'm so glad that I didn't know how powerful my tongue was, because I'm glad if I'd have asked for fire, he would he would set the fire. No, I'm just kidding. I just okay.
Girl, you don't know.
Yeah. The tongue is powerful. Okay.
That tongue.
No, but the discipleship began. That's when I started learning about God. I started reading my word. I started studying the word. Prayer became my life, and I attribute to the group that I was in at that time, because we were so focused on God because of the ministry that we had to do that it taught me how to find tools, which was the prayer. I didn't understand how to pray. Now I do. I didn't understand. And when I say that, I used to pray. Okay. I used to live at church. I would sleep at church. We had something, it's called a grotto. It was a 24-hour prayer grotto. I wanted God so much that I would sleep in the grotto. I had my prayer shawl that I still have to this day. I wore it at Access, by the way. I had my prayer shawl. I would go in the grotto and I would pray all night long for 24 hours straight.
Okay, let me ask you, pause. What were you praying about? You said you learned how to pray. What did that look like? Because yes, praying is a tool.
Yeah. A
very powerful weapon, might I add, but some of us still struggle with that. It's like praying and it sounds simple. It sounds simple enough, but some of us still struggle so much with praying, just communicating with God. So what did that look like for you at the onset? Because that was still very early in your journey.
Yeah, so in the beginning of my journey, my prayers were Help me understand you, God. Help me to learn who you are. Show me who you are. I want to walk with you. I want to talk with you. Reveal to me. Decrease me. Show me your way. Teach me how you want me to live. Just help me. I surrender to you. Like, help me with this process. I don't know what that looks like, but just show me.
Where do you get that language from, girl? Because I'm just learning it.
That's where I started.
Wow.
You know, I wanted to give it all. I poured it out to God. And sometimes it was just very simple. Sometimes it was just laying in His presence.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so many different stages of prayer. And you know, a lot of it came from just understanding and learning, okay, prayer is a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool for many different things. And I always say, just start from where you are.
Yeah.
If the only thing I know how to pray is, God, I need your help, that's prayer. You grow as love on God more.
Yeah.
Because as you love on God, the more you love on Him, the more He loves on you. And in that process, He is teaching you. He is showing you. And through that, as you study your word, you'll develop words to even communicate back to Him.
And let me just throw this in there, because I think a lot of us don't understand. In order to love God and to seek God with all your heart, you have to ask God, invite Him in that process. You have to ask Him to show me how it is that you need me to love you. What is it that you want? And He will help you to understand, this is how I want you to communicate, or He will give you the words, right? But the whole point is you have to invite Him into that process. What does this look like for me? How do you want me to communicate with you? I need you to teach me how to love you.
Yeah.
Especially for survivors, when that is a major area of struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, all right, so that's the spiritual tool. Were there any other, like, physical or any other tools that you...
Community. Community I use as a tool, right? Because I needed people who could hold me accountable and who could also walk with me through that process. So
so we're gonna do another pod, but for the sake of time, I want to touch on real quick, because this is the Awaken to Purpose podcast and we're making our way down. I want to now ask you, what happened to make you pivot now to purpose? When did you realize, like, what was the first nudge to make you understand there was more to this, there was more to your story, there was more to you using your voice and doing
to where I am right now?
Yeah.
So fast forward, y'all, I got married. Okay.
Yeah, we do it.
Yeah, married, y'all. Don't look at my nails. I'm sorry. We didn't have enough time. This is on the whim, okay? But no, I got married, and this is years later, because I got married, I think maybe years. I was in that ministry for about 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I got married way after that. So I got married way later. Okay. And so what I realized is that, prior to my marriage, I did all of the, pouring out at the altar and all the things. And I went through a whole process of purity. What purity really is. And
a whole part of that.
Yeah, that.
Keep going.
I went through a process of my mind being messed up about what is pure and unpure to God. And the best way that I could explain it is, after you have been through a process of what you think versus what God actually says, because of what you're being taught, and not understanding that, giving your life and all of that is beautiful, but you got to actually work on the healing part in terms of acknowledging that you've been through the trauma, and now taking action to do something about the trauma that happened to you.
You mean just praying about it ain't gonna work?
No. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Praying doesn't make the abuse go away.
I'm sorry.
You know?
I don't need to laugh.
You know, and like, no, like, for real though, like, you know, like, seriously, it don't just go away.
Pray.
And so we could pray and run da da da. You know what I mean? Like, you could pray and you know what I mean? It's praying and putting in the work. So I did a lot of praying, but I wasn't doing the work. The work that I was doing was not going back and actually healing the inner child that was abused for all those years. So the work that I was doing was make me more like you, God, and allow me the opportunity to do this and this, and let me focus on this ministry, and let me sing my heart out. Yeah, it was the performance, and let me serve in this mirror. I worked so hard to serve, but I didn't work so hard to heal.
Say it again.
I worked so hard to serve
for the people in the back,
but I didn't work so hard to heal.
I'm gonna ask you to say it one more time.
I worked so hard to serve, but I didn't work so hard to heal. Right? And so when I got married, think about you being in a space where you have been taught now, okay, I've been through all these horrific things, and you come into church and they're not addressing the fact that, you know, you are living out the symptoms of the things that you experience or the trauma that you experience. Now it's just sex is so bad and it's bad.
And trauma is like,
and then
here I come. Now
you're thinking, okay, man, like I did some really bad things. Yeah. So everything that I did was bad, even the trauma that I experienced. And so now I'm getting married. And now you have an opportunity to actually do what God says. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, man, this is bad.
I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy of this. I feel like this is wrong. It's so wrong. You know, you have an opportunity to embrace your husband, to swing off them chandeliers, right? Do all the stuff that you have been taught that you could do, but it feels wrong. You know? And so that's when I went into a discovery. God, I need to know more about sex. I need you to help me understand why I feel like this is bad.
That was a bold prayer, Tammy.
Yeah.
Because we're told certain things you can't even talk to God about. And you had the wherewithal, my girl, to say, God, I need to know about sex.
Yeah. I need to know about sex. I need you to help me understand why I feel so bad about this. Is something that you say you created.
And let me say, this is why y'all need to go listen to her pod. But anyhow, keep going.
I need to understand this.
This is powerful.
And so God took me through an entire process of teaching me God's design for sex.
Where the book at? Because this was not scheduled. None of this was. But I feel like it's a fitting time while she keep talking.
Yeah.
What is it?
He taught me God's design for sex. What is the design for sex?
Stop looking at me.
And so, out of that birthed this book.
Shameless book.
Hey, God, can I? Right? Because I would ask God, can I even do these things? Can I even embrace my husband? Help me to understand more about what this experience is supposed to be like so that I'm not feeling the way that I feel. And so that's what helped me.
Y'all see that? In case you can't see, let me read it. It says, hey, God, can I? An ABC guide of sex for married saints. Let me say that again. For married saints. Married saints. So all of y'all that think that missionary is just it.
We're going to learn, right? So this book is teaching you about the beautifulness of God and his design for sex. And it's answering questions that I frequently get about, you know, what we can and cannot do. within the marital bed. So
for me, this is so powerful because you went through years of abuse from childhood, and what we would have written off as, it's just another story. It's just, oh, well, and we're told that very often as survivor. Things just happen. It happens. But from that and the process in which it took for you to get to be that bold to ask God, what is it and how is it you want me to show up in my marriage? Because hey, you blessed me with this lovely man. Yeah. What am I supposed to do with it? Yeah. Literally. What am I supposed to
do? Because my husband's so good, y'all. He is such a good man. And I wanted to, yeah.
After all of that. But look at that. From all of that was birthed this book, was birthed her podcast, was birthed all of the things that's in the pipeline that's going to be coming out of all of this. But the beauty of all of that is the pivot and the shift in how her story started to take form and take shape, and how God was in the midst of all of that.
All of it.
And this brings me to one of the most powerful scriptures to me in Bible, and that is Genesis 50 verse 20, right, where everything that they meant for evil, God will turn it around for good. Well, if this ain't it, I don't know what is. And with that said, listen, Tam, there's so much more that we need to discuss, because this was just bits and pieces. We're just scratching the surface, because we really need to even take a deep dive into this book, because when I tell you it's powerful, y'all, and even though I'm not a married saint,
it's helpful for singles too, because in here it has a section where it's telling you about all the things that's happening during sex, so that you are aware of everything that happens during a sexual encounter.
To keep yourself pure.
It's all the elements, right? You need to know what is happening during your experiences. And so it teaches you all about that, your body, things that you should know.
When I tell you, it gets real.
Things that you should know before you get married, to help you understand these things. So
we just starting, as in I am just starting the spot. I don't have no official setup to place the book up, so I'm just keep it on my shoulder.
Amen.
But the point is, this is how intentional God is. And when it says that everything that was done, everything God can and will turn it around for your good and for his glory. Listen, everything that you have, oops, we lost the mic, y'all. We lost the mic. Hold on. And I knocked it off with her book. I hope it's working. So the thing is, this is a prime example of God turning those.
Turn it around for me.
Come on, sing us out.
Around for me.
Jesus.
Around for me. Turn it around for me.
No, you're going to make me cry. No, seriously. Guys, I don't even know what I'm doing. As I said, this is my first of prayerfully many, and including with Tam's.
Yes.
But this is what this podcast, Awaken to Purpose, is all about. All of the things that we've gone through, and I'm going to say all of the ish that we've gone through, how God can turn it around.
Yes.
And he gets the glory from all of it. He didn't cause it. He didn't ordain it. But he can use it. And that is basically the gist of what the Awaken to Purpose podcast is all about. And please go check out Tam's podcast, which is
Sex Ed for Saints podcast.
Y'all heard that? Sex education for the saints.
For the saints.
And I'm a subscriber because I need to learn. Go march
in
in it. Oh, when the saints go march. Listen, we're two peas in a pod here. But anyhow, Tam, where can people find you?
You can find me on my social media platform, which is The Marriage Lab LLC, or you can find me on Facebook, Candid Talks with Tammy.
And I'm just picking this up from her because I don't know how to wrap this, but we ended. I'll work on the intro later. But I am Larissa Roan. This has been the Awaken to Purpose podcast. And to my left, don't know my left from my right.
Yeah.
It's my beautiful sister friend, Tammy. And she done told you where you can find her. And be on the lookout. It's not ready yet.
It's going to be ready.
It's going to be ready very soon.
Yeah.
By the end of November. We're saying that out publicly. Mm-hmm. So we're holding her accountable.
Y'all going to be able to have the copy today.
Is this what the cover is going to look like?
I just changed it. So
you changed it?
I just changed it.
The title
is Hey God. The title ain't changed.
Okay.
The title ain't changed.
And when it drops, we will be showcasing.
Y'all gonna have all the links.
Yeah. So, but thank you so very much, Tammy.
Thank you,
Tammy.
Girl, you done made me cry in your podcast. I ain't even crying in my podcast yet.
That's a win for me. I didn't even cry in my podcast yet. It didn't start. It didn't launch, but you guys will see many attempts from me. I promise you that, because my own water is right here.
Yeah,
it's very close. But Tammy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm in the ATL.
In
her apartment. And this has been so many years in the making.
Yeah.
And to have you to do this with me on the whim.
Yeah.
On the whim.
Yeah.
We just came off of the road, y'all.
Yeah, we did.
She was out doing her work. And
yeah.
She's about to record two pods for her podcast, which we gonna link this. I'm gonna figure it out. Mm-hmm. Tammy gonna show me how to do it.
Yeah. And
we gonna get this out. And you go follow her pod because it's already out on YouTube.
Yep. Sex Ed for Saints podcast on YouTube. You gotta put Sex Ed for Saints podcast. Don't just put sex. Don't put Sex for Saints. Put Sex Ed for Saints podcast, y'all. You gonna get something else.
You did change your name already.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sex Ed for Saints on YouTube
podcast.
Oh, you say it.
You gotta put podcast.
Sex Ed for Saints podcast.
Mm-hmm. You gotta put the podcast at the end.
Okay. Or else
we want to make sure you get the holy sites. YouTube is still a platform.
Plethora of unholy ones. So,
all right.
But anyhow, thank you guys. Thank you from my heart to yours. Love you, Tammy.
Love you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And we be doing this again.
Yes.
We out.
Bye.
Bye.
This a healing we do.